Hey Hope Waukee, Pastor John here with this week's e-news. Hey, if you were around at worship this last weekend, or even if you weren't, I shared a story about getting an unexpected flat tire on my car, and I probably didn't respond in a super awesome way. In fact, my 9-year-old daughter probably was a little bit more stress-free about it than I was. And I just want to ask you today, as I did on Sunday, how do you normally respond to the flat tires of life? Those unexpected difficulties and trials and pain and suffering that come up, because, for some of us it's a flat tire, but I know that probably for a lot of you, it's something much deeper. It's something way more serious that's going on in your life. And I don't know about you, but when I had that flat tire, I normally respond with a lot of stress or anxiety or shock or frustration and anger. That's not necessarily the way that God's Word shows us how. When we encounter the trials and difficulties of our lives, we talked about how it's easy to respond with confusion about what's going on or where is God in all of this. Maybe even complaint, but why does this always happen to me? And asking, why God? Why did you do this to me? Maybe depending on what you're going through, it's been setback after setback, and it's easy to fall into cynicism and just kind of get bitter and jaded at life. But none of those responses to trials in our lives actually lead to health and healing and wholeness, the kind that Jesus has for us. Instead, this past weekend, we talked about how maybe it's time to change our filter a little bit. Not the filter in our car, our coffee filter, but the way that we process information. Maybe to connect with some friends, to know that you're not alone, to shift your focus about how you see life, that it's maybe not just the trial, the thing, the issue that's right in front of you, but to enlarge your vision, to take off the blinders and see what God's doing in the larger picture, that your story is not over. That with Jesus, when we know Him, the worst thing, whatever you're going through, is never the last thing, because of the hope that we have in Jesus. The reason I wanted to follow up on this today is that there's been a big response to the topics and the themes we've been covering in this series, but particularly this last weekend. So many of you have reached out to ask about, how do I find healing for what I'm going through? I've been processing a lot. There's a lot of heaviness and sorrow in our church family. We're not immune to that as followers of Jesus. Some of you have reached out asking about a good faith-based counseling service to get connected with. And I'm so glad that we're a church that you have a permission to feel that whatever it is you're going through, you can come just as you are. You don't have to put on the Sunday church mask, that we can just be real as a church family. And so I just want to respond to that. If you are struggling with something, if you feel like you've been holding something for a long time, first of all, find a trusted Christian friend to connect with. Secondly, if you are in need of a good reference for a faith-based counselor, reach out to the church. We'd love to connect you with that. Finally, don't do it alone. Know that we're here as a church family. Find community. Know that you don't have to walk through these difficulties alone. We really encourage you to utilize that time in between services on Sunday, between our 9 and 11 services, to connect with each other, to find community. We've also got a great event coming up. Friday night is the Mother-Son Tailgate. Ladies, this is an awesome opportunity to get connected, to know that you're not alone, to be in community, and have your boys have a great time as well. We would encourage you to get registered. Just show up. We would love to have you as well. God is doing amazing things at Hope Waukee, even in the midst of the storms and the rain and the flat tires. Know that you're not alone. We are better together, Hope Waukee, and we would love to see you this Sunday at worship as we continue our sermon series, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Christians. Whether it's sunny, whether it's stormy and rainy, it's good to be church together. We'll see you soon.